So we are in 221 of the book of Ruth. And where we left off was Naomi and Ruth and Orpha's husbands all died. And Naomi decided to go with Ruth, and Ophrah went back to her mom and dad. And they went on and they to a place where there was barley fields, and Ruth was out working in the barley field, and it turned out to be Boaz's field. And Boaz took favor upon her because he heard about her, and he gave her extra barley, and he fed her, and he protected her from the men around there. And then she goes home and tells Naomi who she worked for, and then Naomi then in turn tells her, that is my cousin, that's my relative. So here we go, 221. Ruth the Moabitess said, he also said to me, you shall stay close by my young men until they have finished all my harvest. And Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that you go out with the young men, and that people do not meet you in any other field. So she stayed close by the young women of Boaz, and to glean until the end of the barley harvest and wheat harvest, and she dwelt with her mother-in-law. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, my daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may be well with you? So what she's telling her is, I'm going to set you up with my cousin. Now Boaz, whose young women you were with, is he not our relative? In fact, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. Therefore, wash yourself and anoint yourself, put on your best garment, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. Then it shall be when he lies down that you shall notice the place where he lies, and you shall go uncover his feet and lie down, and he will tell you what you should do. And she said to her, all that you said to me I will do. So she went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law instructed her. And after Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was cheerful, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain, and she came softly and covered his feet and lay down. Now it happened at midnight that the man was startled and turned himself, and there a woman was lying at his feet. And he said, who are you? So she answered, I am Ruth, your maidservant. Take your maidservant under your wing, for you are a close relative. Then he said, blessed are you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have shown more kindness at the end than at the beginning, in that you did not go after young men, whether poor or rich. So in other words, he noticed that she wasn't after other men. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you request, for all the people in my town know that you are a virtuous woman. So he's telling her, you're a good girl. I know you're a good girl. Now, it's true that I am a close relative. However, there is a relative closer than I. Stay this night, and in the morning I shall be that if he will perform the duty of a close relative for you, not let him do it. But if he does not want to perform the duty for you, then I will perform the duty for you. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning. So he wants her. He wants to take her as his wife. But there's another relative who is closer than he is, and he has to offer her as his wife to him before he can take her as his wife. So he was going to go to him and see what could be done. So she lay at his feet until morning, and she arose before one could recognize another. Then he said, do not let it be known that a woman came to the threshing floor. Also he said, bring the shawl that is on you and hold it. When she held it, he measured 6 ephahs in barley and laid it on her. Then she went into the city. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, is that you, my daughter? Then she told her all that the man had done for her. And she said, "These 6 ephahs of barley he gave me for he said to me, 'Do not go empty-handed to your mother-in-law.'" So he gave her food to take home to Naomi. Then she said, "Sit still, my daughter, until you know how the matter will turn out. For the man will not rest until he has concluded the matter this day." Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the close relative of whom Boaz had spoken came by. So Boaz said, "Come aside, friend, sit down here." So he came aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Sit down here." So they sat down. Then he said to the close relative, "Naomi, who has come back from the country of Moab, sold the piece of land which belonged to our brother Elimelech. And I thought to inform you, saying, buy it back in the presence of the inhabitants, that the elders of my people, if you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know, for there is one but you to redeem it, and I am next after you." And he said, "I will redeem it." So he's telling him, if there's land that was your cousin's and it's available, and if you don't want it, I'll buy it. Then Boaz said, "On this day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance." So the land comes with the wife. So if you take the land, you're also getting the wife. And the close relative said, "I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I ruin my own inheritance. You deem my right of redemption for myself, for I cannot redeem it." So the other relative told him, "I can't afford it. So if you can afford it, then you buy it." Now this was a custom in former times in Israel concerning redeeming and exchanging, to confirm anything one man took off his sandal and gave it to the other, and that was confirmation in Israel. So instead of handshakes like we do now, they would take off one sandal and hand it to the other, and that was a handshake. So they did the handshake with the sandal. Therefore the close relative said to Boaz, "Buy it for yourself." So he took off his sandal, and Boaz said to the elders and all the people, "You are witnesses this day, and I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's from the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the widow of Mahlon, I have acquired as my wife, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance, that the name of the dead may not be cut off from among his brethren and from his position at the gate. You are witnesses this day." So he's telling them, I'm going to take Ruth as my wife, and I'm going to buy the land. And all the people who were at the gate and the elders said, "We are witnesses. The Lord make the woman who is coming to your house like Rachel and Leah, the two who built the house of Israel. And may you prosper in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. May your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, because of the offspring which the Lord will give you from this young woman." So they were giving them their blessing, the relative and the other witnesses. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And when he went to her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bore a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, "Blessed be the Lord, who has not left you this day without a close relative, and may his name be famous in Israel. And may he be to you a restorer of life and nourisher of your old age, and your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has borne him." Then Naomi took the child and laid him in the bosom and became a nurse to him. And the neighbor woman my page don't want to turn. A name, saying, "There is a son born to Naomi," and they called his name Obed. Part 3 is coming, so stay tuned.